I'd like to welcome Carolina Corada. Carolina Corada is going to be a presenter at the upcoming festival in Bad Meinberg, Das Wunder von Bad Meinberg, das Kurs Festival. That's my kind of so German attempt at saying the title in German. But it is going to be here in Germany, coming up June 6th through 10th. And Carolina's on the list of people who are going to be sharing. So we're going to just kind of go right into it because that's what we decided we were going to do beforehand. And I guess the question I have for you first, Carolina, is how has the Course most deeply pierced the ego within your own experience?
Thank you, Barret. Yes, the Course has pierced the ego. I don't know if I would put it in that way. You know, each one of us has a different idea. For me, it's been like a watering down. It's as if when I bumped into the Course, which was very natural, someone just gave it to me, gave me a copy of it, and then I ordered the book back in Venezuela in 1991. What I have felt through the years is that at that time I was like a very dark black coffee with a lot of suffering and a lot of drama in my life, and I was a single parent and whatnot. And then as I went through the mind training and the devotion to working with the Holy Spirit and with honesty and forgiveness, then I felt that ego being watered down. And I don't think if I was to look into that cup today, probably you wouldn't be able to tell that it used to be black coffee.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
This is how it feels for me.
You poured so much cream in the coffee, now it's not black anymore.
Not even cream, it's just clear. Clarity, water, you know, it's just water, and it's been just overflowing, and all that darkness has just been washed away. So I get it. You know, I remember the Course where it said that we're not to attack or destroy the ego, but we are to abandon it by choice. As when the ego continuously offers you its treasures, and you're no longer interested in them. So it shrinks, I guess. It gets watered down. It has no power over you anymore.
Yeah, I love all these images and metaphors. One that I feel personally around this is almost as though the ego is like a magnet. And the more I do forgiveness, the more I practice these principles, the magnet is weakening.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
There's no interest. It's like, oh, you are inviting me to, I'm not interested. So,
yeah.
Oh gosh, yes.
Well, I guess another kind of question that just jumps to mind is, are there, you know, I know the Course itself is a big inspiration, but are there teachers, either Course in Miracles teachers or other spiritual teachers who inspire you? Are there people like that who you hear them talk and they sort of nudge you along the path even further?
Well, you know, more than the talking, which is interesting, and I find a jewel in everyone's words because I can see the teacher pouring through. It's the way people lead their lives that inspires me. I have to say that Andreas Prol, the organizer of this festival, we met several years ago when we invited him to Ibiza, to our Ibiza and Life Festival, and he stayed with us for a whole year, and I saw his life changing, you know, and I've seen it through the years, and I've seen him develop the honesty through the work he does with the Holy Spirit. And then we were able to spend some time together now in Germany instead of here in Ibiza. I was at his home, and he was very inspiring in the sense that I felt very joyful to see a young man with a very powerful devotion to truth and a very powerful devotion to honesty. And yeah, he is very inspiring to me. And then in the former years, I met many who I was very inspired by. Back in 2004, I met David Hofmeister, and he was an inspiration. I remember the first time I looked into David's eyes, it was in Colombia. He was touring Colombia, and he asked his hosts to bring me to him from Venezuela, and they did. So I traveled from Venezuela to Colombia to join with him in Colombia, and this was the first time I was seeing another Course in Miracles teacher, because in Venezuela I didn't know any really. And then I arrived, and I remember looking into his eyes, and I thought, oh, this is what the love of God looks like. And there's been experiences like that. I loved reading, for example, Gary Renard. He sent me his book when he published, because I was in Venezuela and I was a course teacher. So there's been many. One of my students here, for example, is very inspiring. She met the course through me. She's Argentinian. And she was very religious when she came into the course. And I see her now. She's a profound and divine course teacher now here on the island and online, and I honor her, and I feel so inspired to have been able to see the journey into letting go of the ego and accepting correction and guidance. So beautiful.
It really is beautiful. I love that experience you're naming. I was talking with someone, and I remember there's a saying, at least in the U.S., which is people never change, and I don't believe it.
I don't believe it at all.
But what I see is people who are really doing the work. They're really working on their stuff. They're really working on handing it over to Spirit and asking for help and asking for divine guidance. To see their experience just transform in front of our eyes is just a joy. It's a really deep joy of mine. So I totally hear what you're saying.
Yes, this is my inspiration. I'm not a guru follower. And in fact, if you look at my work, it's about collaboration and community, and just stepping down from the stage and stepping down from the podiums, and looking everyone in the eye and seeing the teacher there in everyone. So I'm not, I've never been a teacher follower, but I've met so many devoted brothers and sisters who were just there, and their devotion was just had the ripple effect that we're all seeking, to be touched by the ripple effect of someone who has already accepted the love of God. And I trust that this is what I do as well. I have my own ripple effect through me. The voice speaks, and then it has an effect, and it's not thanks to what I do, but from a result of not having to do anything, just accepting.
I love that. There's an effortlessness about living in our truth. Yeah. I said a little bit ago that the ego sometimes has a magnetic quality, but the Holy Spirit is a much bigger, stronger magnet.
Absolutely. I can't say how long ago, but I discovered very clearly my addiction to the ego's invitations. In order to accept the atonement for myself, I had to look at my addictions to the world, right at them, my addiction to drama, my addiction to fear, my addiction to being right. And then I saw how through the prayer and the surrender to the Holy One, how that addiction shifted into being addicted to the truth. So there's nothing else I want. Addicted to peace. There's nothing else I want. Addicted to the Holy Spirit speaking to me always about love. And I see that how the shift has happened, but now the magnet is the Holy Spirit. So.
Yeah. I too am a really big fan of Gary Renard's books and teachings. And I know in one of his books, they kind of talk about how in the beginning, the ego is what we're used to. But as we keep practicing, as we keep going forward, the truth and forgiveness is what we're used to, and how we actually miss it when we don't do it.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a very obvious shift. So we do have that saying in Spanish also, that people never change, or how some people compliment you after they haven't seen you for 10 years and they say, "Oh, you haven't changed." And I said, "Oh, please don't give me that as a compliment." Because it's not. Because I don't feel like myself anymore, like I used to know me. I don't know that me anymore. It's like just a dim memory in the back of my memory, just very dim.
Yeah. And I know in the beginning, for me at least, hearing these kinds of concepts of letting go of the self, letting go of the individual, there was always some fear around that. And now when I think about that, when I feel into it, it's such a relief. I'm like, oh, I don't have to worry about Barret so much anymore. I don't have to worry about Barret's needs and wants so much. I can wear all of this so much more lightly and still, do whatever Barret needs to do, but I don't need to be so worried about any of it.
It's interesting, Barret, because you're such a young guy and you're about to get married, and you will have children probably, I presume. So that's a whole new challenge, I tell you. The family lab, when it's guided by the Holy Spirit, and I'll be interested to be speaking to you in the upcoming 5 or 6 years and see how that's working for you, because I think the ego takes charge. When we have a family or a partner, our training and our discipline to stay in peace is put to the test. Because children, when you bear a child, the specialness pops up, and when you have a partner and you're just married, specialness pops up, and then it's the the invitation, the luring, come to me, and the ego saying, forget about God and be special. I'm through with that. I'm so happy I'm not there anymore. I've been there, done that, and it's over.
Well, I definitely agree. I'm still working on that. I can see how I make Edith, my fiance, I make her special, and I make our relationship special. So that's definitely an ongoing classroom for me. But I do see how it's lighter than it once was, and how.
I'm sure you're coming into that part of your life so much lighter, and at the same time with the gaining of your power, so much more in power in terms of choice. So I'm sure you will be guided.
It's kind of interesting for people like you and me who are organizing conferences and sort of leading groups and events. What comes to mind is, again, another thing from one of Gary's books where they talk about Jesus, and they say most people think of Jesus as the ultimate leader, and he was not. He was actually, in truth, the ultimate follower. And when I remember that, it's like all this pressure melts away, and all my ego just starts to dissolve.
Absolutely, yes. The follower of the truth. So wow, that when you are in the spiritual ego, it's a mess. Like, who am I following? And if I'm not, and where's the light? And what is the truth? And then there's a shift. For example, in my case, and remember before we started the interview, you said, if you could ask me questions about the now, what's happening now. And for me, the script is written, is huge for me now. I have no human words actually to describe how much I've changed in the few months internally with regards to every single thing. I realize how I have to do nothing. I don't even have to follow. Follow is just a word that now has no use, really, because there's a sense of stillness, actually, of this I believe a true follower who has found the way, there's no movement, there's a stillness there and an acceptance, and the journey comes closer to an end in a way that is not human at all, in a way where time is not what it used to be in the perception of time, and there's a sense of presence and present that has nothing to do with being a follower anymore. You know, it's more of it's a sense of a wave, you know, and then feeling every single drop coming just along with it, and it's effortless. So this is what I'm feeling now, and somehow, as I put together my own festival in October, and our proposal is about this collaboration. It seems like we have to agree into something, but for me, the true collaboration is just not resisting the wave of love and just, you know, joining it together.
I can feel this light and love so much from you as you're sharing. It's just beautiful. It's really beautiful. And I have to share this story. I just had lunch right before we were on this call, and I was making a salad, and I just sort of, you know, I like to tune in as I do things. You know, oh, do I grab this bowl, this plate, this, you know, what should I grab for my salad? And my first impulse was to grab a small plate, and I did, and the salad didn't fit on the small plate. So I had to put it in a bigger bowl, and I got really clearly that the reason I just went through that was because I've been at times putting spirit into a small bowl, and I need to let it just take up all the space that it wants.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, I love this how spirit speaks to us with these very clear images, and then it just sits with us very, very clearly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yes, I let spirit take over everything. And I remember a time when my daughter, who's now 28, and she told me, I want you to love me more. I can see how now, she said, there's more love. But I wanted it especially for me. And she cried. She could feel the shift happening, and in my heart, in my mind, and moving from the special love to an ampler love. And she's been a course student. She was about maybe 7. And she could feel it, and she could feel that it was no longer focused at her, and it felt weird. But she felt more love. She was able to see, she felt more love, but it was not just to her. She felt more love for everybody. So she was saying, no, I want it just for me. So we're walking away from the just for me, and just into the unconditional.
Yeah, this is the shift from all the borders, all the lines, all of the groups that are separate, into wholeness, into oneness, into peace, and it's truly amazing. I'm just feeling this amazing upwelling here as we're talking. It's my heart is very full, just joy and love flowing through me.
Yes, I see that. I feel that, Barret, and I'm so happy that we see each other. I see you. Yes. Like in the Avatar movie, I see you. I know who you are. Yes.
Well, I'm very happy to place all of this love in a very big bowl.
Wonderful.
And I feel like this festival in June is that it's a humongous bowl for all of this love that everyone is coming to experience, and to just be in each other's presence, to just be in the presence of our love, the divine love that expresses through everyone. Yeah, so I'm really excited to be able to share about this fast and to be able to connect with you here. This feels like a soul homecoming to be talking with you here today, and I look forward to however we connect going forward too.
Yes, me too. We are closer now that you have moved to Germany and I live in Spain. So, and I have such a warm space in my heart for Germany, and we'll see. You
Yeah,
know, we'll just see how it was written for
yeah,
us. You know,
right. We don't have to worry about it, right?
no, no, it's just fine. It's just wonderful. Yes, and the good wishes now could only be, I trust you will embrace what was written and over with a peaceful mind now. And that's just the best wishes, because I mean, you're going to come into it anyway, whatever is written for you, and you will arrive to it. And I trust that the frame of mind you arrive to that present moment for you each time is just the peace of God.
I hear your words very personally as you're saying them, and I know that they are for everyone watching this video as well.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
just an amazing experience.
Yes.
So as you go forward in your day, I wish you nothing but love and joy. And again, I know you're going to have a beautiful time at the festival. I will, I'm sure, be there in future years, and we'll connect in other ways. And yeah, just thank you so much. It's really been a beautiful time here, Carolina.
Thank you, Barret. Thank you so much. It was worth the waiting. It was worth the waiting. Thank you for our joining and your open heart. And yes, let's meet in the German festival, in the Ibiza festival. Let's just
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, all right. Blessings.
blessings.
All right.